By the way, this is Tom, and this is the INFJ experience, and I do want to welcome you to today's program. Okay, so you want to find out, you're not sure, and you want to find out, and you want to be positive as to your type. Well, I'm going to tell you that what you could do to figure that out. And well, for one thing, understand too that INFJs are never quite convinced as who they are. They're always questioning their type. They're never quite sure, and they always want to know because they're perfectionists. That's why we are perfectionists, and we're never quite sure. There's got to be one last thing. I mean, gosh, it swims like a fish. It lives in the water. It's got gills. It's got fins. And it eats fish food. But you know what? It ain't a fish. Okay? It's got to be something other than that. That's how we think. Well, okay. Let's go and describe how this is going to happen, people. Have you ever done the self-analyzation? Okay, maybe you have. Actually, I think you've done this many, many times. But now you have more tools to self-analyze who you are. You have just been now given a new set of functions that you can analyze. And that's what we're going to do today. Maybe you're new to this MBTI type and you just found this out and you want to know more about it. And you want to self-analyze. Okay. We have 4 new functions that we're going to play with here. Okay, let's go with that. All right, we are intuitive, introverted, introverted, intuitive, we're feeling and judging. Those are the 4 INFJ and what they stand for. And depending on how you are, that's your preferred functions as to what you are preferred is your code of conduct that makes you function just right. Now, first of all, we're going to dissect every one. If you'd like to do this with me, I can only encourage you. Now, what I would say is what you need to do is when you self-analyze who you are is you just have to have a very good grip on your history. You have to have a good memory, and you have to be willing to pry back as early as you can. Okay? Some of your past events and also some of your present events and how you process situations and how you figure things out, and this could give you indications. So you're always kind of watching your mind in these 4 functions. Okay, all right, we're going to go with introverted versus extroverted. Okay, now this is a simple one. This is probably the easiest one of the bunch. Is are you an introvert or extrovert? That's basically it. Now, people, are you introverted? More than likely you are. You like to spend a lot of time alone. You enjoy your alone time. You seem to feel like you find your center. You seem to be relaxed. You seem to be at peace when you're at alone, for the most part. Not always. Sometimes the isolation gets a little overbearing, but for the most part, bottom line is when you're with people, too many people, too long, they tend to drain you. They feel like your energy's being drained. You feel like you're tired after you dealt with too many people at any time. Chances are you're an introvert versus an extrovert, which is pretty much the opposite. Extrovert means just that. They're outgoing. Extroverts, you can't, they're the ones, they're always at the club. They're laughing. They get tons of people around. They're the ones that seem to gather people. They seem to be charged as time goes on when they're with people. Gosh, they're the ones at the parties that just seem to keep getting better, and they get funnier, and they get more just more charged with people as they go along. Those are the extroverts, and we do see them, and they're out there. But we're not that. If you're here, you're an introvert, and you are drained with too many people, and you need alone time. So that's a fairly easy one to know. Okay, so you found out. You're introverted. Next one, are you a sensor or are you intuitive? Okay, where are you on this spectrum? Okay, sensors. I mean, we're all basically sensors. We have to be to an extent. We have all the senses. We have sight, sound, smell, touch, and what was the next one? Taste. Yeah, there you go. Those are our 5 senses, okay? And that's basically our senses into the world, okay? And we have to all have senses, okay? But how do you process these senses? And that's how we're going to say, okay, are you intuitive? Now, intuitives it's more of an internal intuitive. I mean, it means just that, in. Introverted is inside, intuitive is inside. So these are two of your main functions right away. So not only you in your head, but you're in your intuitive and how you process your senses, okay? So you're looking at your senses in such a way, not just at for face value, but you're looking deeper. You're always trying to compute what you know from what you sense and how deeper it goes. And you're actually projecting what you see into the future. Maybe events happen and you're trying to put things together. Now, sensors, for the most part, just the ones that are sensors, especially extroverted sensors, are seeing things for the moment. They will see a situation, they will see a certain course of events taking place in the moment, in the now, at the present, a lot of times. And they're very good at this. And they're very good is because they're living for the time they're in. And they're very good. So they're seeing it, they're actually feeling it all in, and they actually have very good reflexes, like the ESTP. This is the opposite of INFJ. Now, these are more of your types that are very physical. They're the extroverted, but they tend to be like they're so in touch with their physicality that their bodies and their coordination, and they're more developed. They're very developed physically. I mean, these are the people that make good football players. They make good athletes. They make good physical specimens, things like that, because they're right in the moment and they're thinking in the moment. Most of your athletes, not all of them. I mean, there's some exceptions to every rule, but they seem to follow that trend. Is that they're like the athletic types. Okay, those are the ESTPs I'm talking about. But the extroverted sensor types are right there, while the introverted intuition types are more like the planners. You'll see something, but you're always looking at it in the future. And you can actually simultaneously see it in the past as well, in order to gather information for the present and the future, and to see a future projection, because they're more future projection. But you do need information from the past, how it got to that point, to see it to go into the future, if you know what I mean. So bottom line is, introverted intuitives are basically seeing into the future. We're very future projections. Now, also intuitive. Now, if you've ever seen something happen, something personal, look into your history, people. Have you ever, maybe as a kid, you saw one of your friends or something, maybe they started getting reckless. Maybe as your teenagers, you saw one guy that got a new car and he was just thinking he was all that and everything. He was burning his tires and he was peeling out and he was driving too fast, and he kept saying, he's just got his license and he's reckless. So he's going to crash that thing. He's going to get hurt. And you're thinking that, and you're thinking it. And all of a sudden, a week later, it happens, Maybe that's kind of an easy one to figure out, but on the idea, but you still saw it happen. You saw it. That's intuition right there, because you took the event, you saw into the future, you kind of seen what was going to happen, and you knew it was going to happen. And maybe you've done things similar to that in your life. Chances are you're intuitive, okay, because you're piecing it that way together. All right, moving on to the next one. Are you a thinker? Are you a feeler? Now, this is a little bit of a tricky one, because INFJs, we're both. We think. We're always thinking. We're not just always just fully emotional. Some INFJs are more emotional than others. Some are less emotional. Some are a little more balanced. I've taken my test, and I'm kind of I'm just like maybe 3% more in the feeling category than I am the thinking category. But bottom line is I'm kind of right in the middle, but I'm a little more of a feeler. And but I can explain that this is one how this works. Okay, all right. The thinking type is, again, he's thinking. He's very logical, very just straightforward thinking, and he's thinking in the moment. What's the most proper, most logical solution as to what it is, while a feeler is actually probably looking at the. Oh, there's a spider on me. Huh. There he is. I had a little spider on me. He's okay. He might be thinking to himself, oh, you know what? What's good in the moment? What's good for right now? What is the most logical procedure is this? And if it affects things, then so be it. But this is the most logical thing to do, basically. Okay, that's a thinker. Not to say he can't be a feeler and have emotion, but a feeler is more the type that will make decisions based on values, and they will make a decision based on how it affects other people, or they will react in a situation and how it affects others and other people. Okay, they're looking out for they're looking out. Okay, let's say, for example, just something as simple as this. You're at your job, you're doing things, and somebody else just pulls up behind you. Now they got a job to do too, but you're in the middle of your job. You were there. Now, do you speed up a little bit and say, "Oh, all right, I got to finish up a little quicker so I can get along and kind of get things going," and be like, "Hey, 1 second." You're thinking about them getting past you, but you're in their way, and you're kind of hurrying it up a little bit. Well, chances are you're a feeler, because you're making a decision based on somebody else at that time. While a thinker might be like, "Hey, I was already here first." They're just going to have to wait. They're going to have to wait their turn. All right. So they're kind of cut and dry that way. So your decisions are based on that this decision. But again, like I said, INFJs, we have the ability to go very, very logical and think very straightforward in situations. But when it involves affecting somebody's life, if it's inanimate, let's just say, it's very logical. But if it affects a life, a future life, somebody, even if it's animals, even if it's just a wildlife, you're going to make decisions based on how it's affecting other people or other things around you. So that makes you a feeler. And also if you're very empathic, that falls into your empathy along with your intuitive, is that you're feeling people's emotions. Somehow you actually are feeling the vibrations. You can feel people's energies. You walk into a room, and if somebody's angry or somebody's tense, you may feel that. And you may actually think it's your own. If somebody's sad, you might feel sad. You might even feel great happiness. You walk into a room that's happy, all of a sudden you're going to start smiling because everybody else is. You're empathic. So you're going to start feeling things. And depending on the level of empathy and how you've developed it, it might be stronger than others. So that's how you're empathic as well, tied in with your feeling. All right, now let's look at the last one. We get judging versus perceiving. Okay, again, these other two final functions, they reverse as far as their cognitive, based on the first, introverted intuition. So the judging falls into the introverted and the intuition in such a way where the judging is now your structure. The judging is your category. This is the way you put things in order, the way you kind of process them and keep them lined up, in other words. Now, the perceiver, they're in order, but they're not really the long-term thinkers for the most part. Not to say they can't be, but they're more very much in the moment, thinking about the best thing that they're going to do at that time, keeping it structured. They're more spontaneous too, where they may not think long-term ahead. They're going to be, like I said, the ESTP, very in the moment with their sensing, tied in with their perceiving, so that they're making very good decisions based at that time. Okay? And so, but then they're just kind of putting together their decision based on not really cut and dry, but there's a little bit of gray area where they make things fit at the moment. And so that's a perceiver, especially if they are extroverted, and if they are sensors, and their perceiver types is more really based in the moment. So depending on if they're introverted perceivers or extroverted perceivers, there's a little bit of variation on how they process. There might be a little bit more future focus on there with the introverted perceiver than they are the out one. I'm saying a lot, trying to keep up. Okay, now let's go with the judgers. Judging's, again, that whole final function there is about structure and how we see our structure. Now, being that we're judges in that, it means that we're pretty much categorical. Black or white. Positive, negative. Very just hit or miss. Either this or that. That's why we're all or nothing in a lot of ways too. That's why it's like we can be all in or like not have anything to do at all. And so, but also being that it's tied in with our introverted intuition, we take that judgment and we also tap in our long-term plans into that judgment as well. Now, it also can have the micro and the macro. I told you bugs are drawn to me. I got another beetle just crawling on me over here. Macro and micro is another thing that falls in line with your judgment as well. Okay, a micro judgment would be something as minuscule as what you're going to have for dinner tomorrow. All right, what you're going to have for dinner tonight. Have you planned it out? Am I going to go to a restaurant? Am I already thinking about a hamburger, or do I have something at the fridge? Well, I've already made a determination. I'm going to go out to lunch this afternoon. I've already made that because I do that every week. I mean, I tend to wait. I'm getting a little hungry. Might go to one of my favorite restaurants and have me something from the menu over at my favorite pub that I go to, along with a beer. I have a certain routine I like to keep. All right. Now, these are micro things, or gosh, a lot of times I may be working in the middle of my shift and I'm thinking already what I'm having for breakfast. Do I get that bowl of cereal, or am I going to have the rest of my leftovers for my breakfast? And do I have enough? Am I going to have orange juice? Oh, wait, I only have coffee, so I might have to have, I already kind of know the inventory in my fridge, and I'm already planning out based on what I know what's in my fridge and how much I have as far as orange juice and how much things like that. So these are micro projections. Now, they also work in a macro, which is a larger, okay, future projection as, okay, I buy this house, it's within my budget, it's for me, it's in a beautiful setting, it's got trees around. Okay, you kind of saw it, you foresee it, it felt right to live there, you made that decision buying that house, okay, on a feeling too. But also, I was doing the judging where, okay, gosh, I'm 58 years old and I'm going to be retired before. I can't have a 25-year mortgage, okay, based on the salary, based on my income. So I want the house. I can't pay rent for the rest of my life, so I buy this house. Here it is. I got it. But if I have this job for this many years, I can do it on this budget, and it'll be there by the time I retire. And you're projecting it out. And so far, this is an actual personal one. So far, it's happening just the way it goes. You see what I'm saying? And so this is a micro thing. You're projecting a goal, and it may come down to that. And the way you get a certain job, the way you are foreseeing into your future, and as long as you stay on that, you're looking in that. Now, this is a good long-term goal, and INFJs are very good future planners, especially with the judging and the introversion that ties in. So you have to kind of piece all these things together and look at your history and kind of dissect in your mind all your four functions and how they tie in with the other ones and how they give you your type. Okay, so anyway, people, that's what I've done. I've had to do that a couple of times in my life because sometimes I'm never quite sure, but I have to come to the conclusion that after 3 some odd years, no other type seems to fit me. I've actually looked into INTJs, or I've looked at the INFJs. I've looked at these other ones, and I've thought, okay, I don't align with these. I don't follow the code as to what they are. I'm more my mind is more, very complex. The INFJ. So you tell yourself, gosh, that's what you fall into. Just the idea that you want to go look into, this kind of self-analyzation is something an INFJ would do. And then not believe it and always question it also falls in line with who we are. So that's one thing to look at. Also, people, you got to say to yourself, do I have a stare? Can I bring a stare? Can I peer into somebody's soul? Have you ever gave anybody the nuclear option? Have you ever had the door slam somebody? In your history, has somebody, a good friend of yours, been so toxic that you had to let them go? Have you had to end a relationship and cut ties and never look back? It may have been brutal. It may have been that door slam or the nuclear option, but did you have to? Do you have a whippoorwill soul? Do you always search for your soulmate? Are you isolated in such a way where you're introverted, but you also are reaching out? You kind of need people, but you don't. You're kind of tugged in the middle of a war sometimes with your own soul. You want people, but you can't be around them too much, so you need your introversion. So you're always confused and you're always hurt, and sometimes you're tore up inside. You have this very sometimes it's sad. You have a sad personality too, because we're so pulled in every direction, and we're complex and we're confusing. These are our curses. So you have these amazing gifts of being able to forecast and categorize yourself, but you have your isolation and your drawbacks that lead you to this. So you have your curses as well, and you might have found out in your life that you are in two worlds: a blessing where you are shined down on, yet you are cursed. And if you are blessed and cursed and you feel it, chances are that's what you are. You're an INFJ. So this is our experience, people. This is how our life is, and this is what it's all about. So people, if you're not sure, you got to do a self-analyzation on you. But if you know who you are, then welcome home. Then you found your people. Okay, I'm getting up now. I got to talk now. So people, you found where you are. If you're an INFJ, and you know that this is your type, and just kind of scoping my area out a little bit. But bottom line is, people, I hope you liked what I just said today. I hope if you're in line with this kind of thinking, if you like my content, please subscribe to my channel, and please give me some thumbs up and leave some comments that you like this. Bottom line is, people, I'm building this community of INFJs. I think it's highly important that INFJs in this world find out their type, to live a better life, to live a healthier life. They need to find out that that's who they are, so they can understand their well-being, their psyche, their personality type. Understand that they may be rare, but they're not alone. You are not alone, people. It's important. This is my channel. I want younger generations, younger INFJs to find this out, so they can live a happier, better life by understanding their type. That's what I'm all about, and that's my calling here for you people. So I hope you enjoyed what you got, and please support me. And I have great visions for this channel in the future. I really want to have it take off and become somewhere. I want it to be a place of refuge, a sanctuary for INFJs. We have a place to go, and a lot of times we never had too many places to go. We've always been that kind of misfit, the outsider, the weird guy looking in. Well, you're not weird anymore. You fit in here, okay? So I just want you to know that. So people, I welcome home. Welcome to this channel, and welcome to this INFJ experience. And so people, I'll be there again, and I just want you to know that we are there for each other. Well, people, I'm going to wrap this one up today, and before I go, I just want you to enjoy a little bit of a scenery over here. Enjoy the pond, and because I've been enjoying it the whole time. Well, people, thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of your day.